Hi there, Dr. Joseph Martin again. The topic for today is nobody's right if somebody's left out. How to unify all the complementary dualities and opposites that are part of our human nature and our societies. There's a little play or pun on words here in the beginning. Nobody's right if somebody's left. It's a play on politics, I suppose, or values or attitudes. We all belong here on earth. We're all native to the earth, as one of my great spiritual native masters told me. We all have red blood and we all have a heart. Whether it's open or not is another question for now. And the way forward is not just to keep fighting as we have done for millions of years, in fact. The way to move forward is to integrate the great law of peace, as Deganawideh, the Mohawk Huron spiritual master, teacher, leader for us all, has said, and many of the other great teachers, the Buddha, Jesus, Muhammad, peace be upon him, bless his holy name, and a lot of the great female spiritual masters, Quan Yin, Mother Mary, Mary Magdalene, they've all said the same thing. There is a great law of peace in the spiritual world that's hidden and buried inside our soul. It's already there as a superconscious reality of truth and unification that just needs to come up from the unconscious. No longer is it useful, meaningful, or even productive to project all our hidden unconscious shadow onto other people and calling them evil or bad or wrong, or whole nations or peoples as the axis of evil. This is not mature. Certainly, our human nature can move and evolve and grow beyond this. It's rather puerile and infantile. It's like sandbox politics. And we need to start from the bottom up, from the inside out, from every human individual who needs to find their own kind of complementarity, unity within the two sides of our own nature. Our own inner hidden fascist dictator needs to come up, and he can, once transformed, become your best friend and show you that the truest empowerment in life is not power over somebody else or another group or ridiculing them or bullying them, but it's power of love and power of healing transformation within yourself first, which is the next video, which actually you can look at back and forth between this one and that one. But it's the ability to understand, as Nelson Mandela did, that we all need to acknowledge that we can respect the differences of somebody with a different skin color or politics or religion or a different set of values and attitudes. Even people on the extreme right of politics who suffer from great superiority and inferiority complexes, that, we all have a right to exist here. I love that little bumper sticker that we all know is coexist, which within the actual letters of coexist, we have all the kind of symbols of all the world's great religions. In fact, that's a great motto for us. We all have differences. We can celebrate our differences. It would be horrifying if we were all the same. The homogenization of politics and economy and society right now, and this bland cultural identity, unification, homogenization notion, which is creating zombies out of most of us, is really not the way forward. We don't need to be the same. We are not the same. We need to celebrate all our differences. We can respect the fact that somebody has some other values and attitudes around tearing up the earth or destroying humanity or killing or murdering, whether it's an individual psychopath or the corporate psychopaths that we have as the transnationals. There's a reason why they are experiencing life on this planet, this time, in this global society in this way. And unless and until we understand where they're coming from, and we have the capacity and the willingness to listen to them, to understand where they're at, to understand why they're heartless, to understand the hidden inner abuse and victimization they've suffered, we're not going to be able to proceed. We need to welcome them as sisters and brothers in an earth walk here together. We need to understand and have empathy and compassion for them as they at this time are trying to process and experience some kind of personal evolution. Just by listening, often people will have, and giving them some love, will have the capacity to grow and evolve. Now, not everybody does, as I know in my over 40 years of clinical work with people. However, we can at least allow them their humanity and acknowledge them and their capacity, and they're doing the best they can for what they know of themselves at this time. So the whole goal here, and this is based on William Blake's notion and Hegel's philosophy, that duality exists in the cosmos, in the solar system, in human nature and human society. We have all the polarities of everything in our two sides of our brain. We have mind over and emotion. We have spirit and we have body. We have ego and a higher self. We have all these just polarities, and that's the substance of another video, as I've mentioned. However, for the time being, in terms of our work in our family, as a marriage and family therapist, I realize that, when we do all this kind of work with play work, working out two sides and having each member of the family take on the role, like as in psychodrama, of their parent, their mother, their father, their uncle, their aunt, or a sibling that they're having conflicts with. When you can walk a mile in the shoes of another person and open your heart to listening to them, you can see why they are the way they are at this time, and perhaps support them in their own personal growth and evolution. That goes for the neighbors beside you where you live. It goes for the people down the street in the town or city where you are in the world. And it goes for the difference between ethnic groups and between religious groups, so that if you knew what it was like to be a Muslim, then you would understand how beautiful that tradition is. Or a Jew, or a Christian, or a Jain, or a Sufi, or a Hindu, or a Buddhist, or a Zen, or an animist, or a First Nations indigenous person. When you take the time, as you can do, to experience and explore this, then we'll be much farther along to understanding how we can unify all the complementarities of human nature and human society, and in fact create an adventurous embrace of our differences. And we are a stronger person when we heal ourselves inside, and we will be a stronger global nation of all of us when we respect and identify with, in the best sense, acknowledge and respect and have kindness towards our differences. That will make us far more adaptable as a human species, and we will survive this chaos that we feel that we're in now. Om Namah Shivaya, all blessings. Look forward to speaking with you again at some point. My heart is with you. Embrace the dualities, embrace your differences, and embrace who you are as a loving human being. All kindness, metta.